Before this video begins, I'd just like to give a thank you to our most recent patrons, donators and Twitch subscribers. These being Dante Demonic, Tribal Typhoon, Skyhawkings, Negus, Miss Future Teach and TravisGames. Thank you, all of you. Greetings, members of the Temple Alliance. Welcome to Shadowstar. I'm Ri'shad, aka the Renegade, and this is a Starship stats review video. And boy, have we got a beauty here. This ship, the VERNE Temporal science vessel, in my case, is named after someone precious to me. Because this is one elegant ship, and she's one elegant woman. But this temporal ship that we're questioning today, my word, I absolutely adore its potential. Among science vessels, she has some of the greatest potential even. Temporal ships tend to. And this one is pretty nice looking. Besides, in case you didn't know, she even likes to burn orange for you. We'll start off with a quick look at visual customizations between the VERNE and her counterpart, the Whales class, and then we will also cover this ship's stats in full. This is a breakdown of what the stats are, what they can do, or what it means for the ship. A look at the trait and console, any other special things that we need to question while we're at it, and then we shall take the ship into action. So, without further ado, shall we begin? So the VERNE class, now she is one hell of a beauty, just looks alone, and there's a great upgrade on the Whales original look. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Whales is a pretty nice looking ship, but the VERNE just takes it to a whole nother level. She comes with the temporal bridge interior, as seen in Star Trek Voyager, I think it was? Do you believe? May have been a different one. Pretty sure it was Star Trek Voyager. An episode with Deep Space Nine even. No, it was definitely Voyager. Definitely was Voyager. But hey, nice bridge. Windows, we actually get more options than you'd expect. The VERNE Grey, Mobius Grey, Mobius Standard, which is a blacker look I've noticed, and VERNE Standard, again, has that blacker pattern. Not gonna lie though, it looks absolutely amazing no matter what way you crack it. I do love the windows that change are literally only those spheres, nothing else changes with them. So perhaps the rest of the things on the ship aren't windows, heyo. Material wise, we have the Aeon, which has always been a remarkably nice look. And if I hold it in the light there, you can see where the coloration changes. So Aeon goes from grey to silver. The dark mirror changes, instead of changing the grey tone area that would turn to orange on the standard setting, it's the main hull plating that turns from its sort of brownish black to a green, a very shimmering olive green. The Klein, I think that's Klein it's supposed to say. That's just a damn nice look. The grey turns into a slightly lighter grey, nice and subtle with black. You have the mirror armor, which is basically the mirror hull plate for any Federation ship. The Mobius armor, which is basically dark, well, it's dark mirror plus a mirror Terran Empire paint job put on top of it. The original type armors, which I have to admit, Type 4 looks kind of good on this ship. But work our way down. Oof, that's white, isn't it? And you get to upgrade, which looks actually quite nice for this ship. It basically just gives more of a shimmer to the standard look. The VERNE, so you can see how it does it, it just darkens in more of a shimmer. The Veteran, and of course the Whales, which is... oh, it's the Whales one that's made darker. So the upgrade is on the Whales skin. Personally, I prefer the VERNE. Well, you'll see my personal favourite when we get out there. Customization wise, you can only swap between the hull types. There is no way to change the discs top and bottom anymore. I'm pretty sure that used to be what the windows are, but they've sort of taken it out for this model, and it's a shame. Oh, hang on a second, let's check Wells. Yeah, Wells doesn't have it either anymore. So we're stuck to that, but hey, we can live with it, right? She's a good looking ship. All the patterns, of course, are available for her. So, before we actually get straight into the stats, I'll just let you know where you can get this ship from, because I have been told that people would like it if I announce this part early in, and don't forget it. So, you can get this ship via, currently, the Infinity Prize Pack, Tier 6 ship, so Infinity Lockboxing, or the Mud Stealing Time Choice Pack. This does come along with another absolutely magnificent ship, but question before you pick it up how much you're going to want the ship. It is a count-wide unlock, so to me that does add quite a bit to its value, but still, definitely consider the uses of the ship for you as we go on. So we're talking about a Tier 6 science vessel with a hull modifier of 1, this being probably its weak point to the ship. This leads to a maximum base hull of 45,000 at level 65. Still, not all that bad. She has a shield modifier, an impressive shield modifier, of 1.45. Basically meaning this ship can tank with the shields to no end. It gets better. A turn rate of 15, making her be able to fly circles amongst some of the best. An impulse modifier of 0.2. Inertia rating of 60. Right there where I like them to be. Bonus power settings of +5 to shields and +15 to auxiliary. Support all the way, guys. Weapon layout of 3 forward, 3 aft. Able to equip a secondary deflector, really giving this ship some real science potential. And finally, it has 3 device slots with a console layout. I say finally because I go bridge officers later. Console layout of 3 tactical, 3 engineering, 5 science. This is why I can say finally, because now I can really give you guys an idea what this ship's able to do on that basis. So straight off the bat, we know this ship is support. It's very heavily support orientated. Bridge officers are going to just complement this. But we know this ship can do any variant of support. And it's actually really good at support hybrid builds. Specifically, my personal favourite that this ship can do well is the support DPS build. But she can also do a damn good regenerative shield tank DPS build. So, hey, that's a great hybrid there straight away that gives this ship so much potential over a lot of her counterparts and rivals. To be going on with this, she does DPS tank, tactical DPS really well, and also DPS tank builds relatively well. But again, you'll be focusing on the shield side of things, even if you don't go regenerative. So, to me, I've already stated that fact. Tanking wise, that's been stated really clear as day. She's a shield tank, not really a hull tank. And to be fair, her bridge officer layout is going to square into this more. She has a ensign engineering. Note, we have no tactical seating. A commander science temporal specialization, a lieutenant commander science temporal specialization, really heavy in that area to be fair, a lieutenant commander universal seat, and a lieutenant universal seat. This is where you'd gain her DPS potential, or you could go really over the top in science, but hey, science DPS can be pretty damn good builds, and this ship really does well in that category. However, if you do optimize for that completely, be aware that you will have to focus completely then on what your exotic damage is capable of. Your draining, your control, that's going to become the primary focus of the ship. Not to say she doesn't get some really good points or stats out of it, but when you over specialize, you set yourself up for weaknesses elsewhere, especially in certain TFOs and against certain PvP situations. For that reason, I do consider the heavy focus and universal to be both a strength and weakness of the ship. Now then, with that being said, we have some pretty damn good strengths to go on after that. We have good Admiralty stats for the ship, well balanced out, with a 29 for both engineering and tactical, and 68, nearly 69, for science. However, she has some excellent consoles she can use to get a really decent console set. You gain the other two consoles from the Temporal Dreadnought and the Klein class Temporal Science Vessel, or Temporal Vessel. I think it's a Science Vessel again. But from this ship, you gain the Enhanced Triplet Cylinder. This console itself will give you exotic damage boosting, 15% exotic damage, and 21.4 to Starship shield regeneration. With Temporal Backstep allowing this ship to gain from a set bonus, hold all foes in a 5-kilometer radius for 7 seconds. If the Mayhem device is equipped, held foes are untargetable. So in my case, they're untargetable at the moment. To self, you're untargetable for 7 seconds while the rewind happens. After 2 seconds, move backwards to your approximate previous position. After 2 seconds, plus 2,070 hit points per second for 5 seconds. After 2 seconds, you gain 500 approximate shield regeneration to all facing shields for 5 seconds per second. And finally, minus 5 seconds to current recharge time of bridge officer abilities. This is excellent, really. The ability itself is only a 1 minute 20 second recharge time, which is good compared to the normal 2 minute. Now, to give you a brief rundown, we won't focus too much. The Enhanced Mayhem device will give you plus 15.3 to your control abilities, plus 15.3 to your drain expertise. This is just really good for this ship anyway. Plus 5% to your shield readiness, and summons 2 duplicates for yourself. Finally, the Temporal Rift Stabilizer is probably one of my absolute favourite consoles, especially when it comes to temporal ships. This gives you plus 6% to exotic damage, and plus 15% flight turn rate, with a Temporal Distortion, AoE slow, kinetic damage, and damage debuff. With a 90-degree arc, you create 5 Temporal Distortions within 3 kilometers of your target. This Temporal Distortion, up to 10 foes affected per distortion within a 1.5 kilometer radius, and will deal 169.1 kinetic damage per half a second, ignoring shields. This will also reduce damage by 50% for 3 seconds, reduce turn rate by 85.7% for 3 seconds, which is incredible, and reduce impulse speed by 69.8 for 3 seconds. I'm sorry. This is just one of my favourite consoles, and definitely one of the ones I like to throw in there when I'm having a bit of a fun build, especially when I'm going for a DPS. Bit of more fun DPS build in the bigger ships. The turn rate boost is brilliant. Finally, we have the trait, Out of Time. Now this trait is one of those ones which I don't readily advise using. I don't think it's that great, but it does have its advantages. So, once per second, while above 88 impulse speed, get 1000 cold damage to self, but will also gain a stack of Out of Time. When dropping below that speed, recharge time of bridge officer abilities are reduced by 2% per stack. Removes all stacks of Out of Time as well, and unable to gain stacks for 5 seconds. As you can see, this is relatively a useful ability if you want to gain bridge officer recharge time. However, unfortunately, this trait is now a bit outdated. there are much better ways to gain the same level of recharge time without taking damage, and also more efficiently. So, if I'm frank, it's not a great trait, and unfortunately scores very low with me. To score them, the console itself that you get with this ship, I will happily give a decent score to of about 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. However, the out of time trait scores a 2 out of 10 for me. Back in the day, I may have scored it about 5 out of 10, but it's just lost its usefulness now. Sorry trait, you've lost it. So, with that being covered, the last thing I want to bring up to you guys is the molecular deconstruction beam you get as this temple ship. The temple special power. Now, you can activate either your offensive configuration, which will boost your engine maximum power, flight speed and turn rate. However, your incoming hull will be reduced. Keep this in mind because this ship has a low hull. However, you will gain 1 offensive counter per 10 seconds with this. With defensive configuration, you gain maximum shield power and incoming hull healing, plus 10 to shield power, plus 20% to hull healing, and gain a defensive counter. However, you gain the opposite of the offensive configuration. You reduce flight speed and turn rate. Defensive configuration, therefore, not necessarily the best either. However, this one can come really in handy for this ship, especially when you consider its specialty. Support configuration will boost your auxiliary power by 10, your exotic damage by 20%, and your control expertise by 40, giving this ship an overwhelming amount of real support and control capability. The support configuration though has even bigger benefits that we'll cover in a second. However, be warned, you lose your energy weapon damage. Not really going to be a bother though if you're a torpedo build, is it? Hint hint, nudge nudge. What can this ship do really well? So, molecular deconstruction beam, so powerful. Per physical counter, you gain the ability to use a 5-second beam, dealing 4,000 damage roughly per physical counter. This ignores shields and is half damage against players, of course. With offensive counter, you get the physical damage. With defensive counter, you gain hull healing. Quite an impressive hull healing, actually. 2,000 hull healing per second for 5 seconds. And with support counters, you gain a 3-second disable to the target. Now, bearing in mind that this ship really gets its best output from having support configuration, and you gain up to 6 counters maximum. 6 times 3, people, that is a very, very long hold. When you keep an enemy disabled for 18 seconds... Sorry, it's not even a hold, it is a straight up disable. An 18-second disable. Really hard to match that. This also, whatever you do when you hit them, you get the control amplification, exotic damage resistance reduction, and control resistance reduction for 10 seconds with this ability. Now, admittedly, if you go with offensive configuration, you get a pretty powerful lance out of this weapon. If you go defensive configuration full gun, you've got a pretty good self-hull heal. So, all configurations do have their advantages, but hey, I'm just saying, disable is definitely the best, in my opinion here. Okay, you guys gotta shoot me if I keep talking, so let's take this ship into action, shall we? Hello, Sovereign Class, how are you doing down there? Well now, with a Jemadar skin on board, because I like the purple and grey, let's take her in. Oh, and I should acknowledge I have gone for a anti-proton build. This will be fun. Oh, this should be lots of fun. I don't even know why I put this one on. Yes. Let's go get these guys. This is going to be too easy, really. If I'm totally honest, I'm probably using a build that's a little bit overkill for what I'm actually doing here. But at least it's not too powerful on the DPS side of things. I'm literally flying a circle around this guy. Well, I did say this ship could fly circles, didn't I? Bye-bye. Ooh, at least he took more of a hit than I expected him to. Offensive configuration. Now, I did say offensive might be one of the worst for this ship, but, well, let's see if we can hold tank strong enough that the, shield tank strong enough that the hull doesn't matter. This is where the other bit comes in line. Do it! Admittedly, at this point, if I went for a broadside build, I'd probably be doing way higher damage than I am doing. This is using 3 Omnis, though, by using the kinetic cutting beam just to assist. Hey, didn't do too bad. Admittedly, yes, I took more damage there than I probably would like to have done, but it wasn't that bad a damage. Besides, the next target's going to really have to take some fun. And we can even try the temple backstep, so why not? Here we go. I'm going to slow myself down and keep that shield up as much as I can. And he's out of there. Yoink. Try temple backstep. Just do yoink back. And let's watch the ship recover. Now I can make a nice move on these guys. This is going to be mean. This is actually going to be mean on these guys now. For an extra... With what I've done here, I've basically got enough power just to eradicate them. And the final one. Come on, where are you? Bye! Like I said, hits like a lance and he's out there. So, not really a reason why you can't use offensive configuration. That's why I used it, to prove that just because it's not really a strength for the ship doesn't mean it can't be used. I mean, I'm not that strong and yet I still managed to make use of it. Pretty damn effective, if I do say so myself. Now, that leads to a final breakdown. What do we think of the ship? What do we think she can do? Okay, let's be blunt. As a shield tank, that is probably one of her absolute strongest areas. So easily I'll give her 9 out of 10 as a shield tank. As a whole tank though, cripplingly weak, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give her a 5 out of 10. The only thing augmenting my score there is the fact that she does have some decent engineering capability and could be improved engineering wise in order to make the whole tanking stronger. Support wise, she's absolutely amazing, so easily gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me as a support vessel. She literally monsters the support category. As a science DPS, well, you can see just about how well she can do. I'm not the best at performing a side DPS, but hey, there is potential there, so I will give her a 8 out of 10 in that category. And as far as tactical DPS goes, since that can be done, and if done right, can really get some good output. Again, I'm not great when it comes to science vessels, but as such, so I'm slightly weaker here. I'm going to have to give her 8 out of 10 for that one as well, just because I know she has the ability, even if I don't know how to properly utilize it. Truly, this is quite the strong ship. She has potential, she has flexibility, and let's just be fair, she's got some beauty to her. She's an agile, beautiful ship. I would recommend her to players with some basic knowledge in the fields that she can do. Wouldn't recommend her to new players as, well, she is does take a bit of knowledge in what you're doing to really get the best out of this ship. And, well, with that being said, now I just want to know what you guys think of her. Like I always ask, comment section is below, let me know what you think of this ship. And, well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, found it helpful in some manner, I hope. If you have, maybe you'll consider hitting the like button and helping get this video out there. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I do a lot more reviews now than I used to, so it's a lot easier. I'm a guaranteed source for reviews. And if I haven't done the ship recently, as I am working through them all again, you're more than welcome to request a ship for me to do, and it will pull it up the list for the next one to cover. I also would like to just give a thank you to the patrons and donators of this channel for assisting in making my dream a reality. And with that being said, until next time guys, thank you, and remember, live long and prosper, my friends. Ciao for now. That's not warp. It's doing a temple jump.